In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him nothing was made that was made.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. It's Untethered Live on a Sunday night, and I'm your host, Jake Johnson, and tonight it's Easter, as some folks call it, Ishtar, some others call it. I call it Sunday. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. We are in the great book of Exodus in the great Bible tonight. Exodus chapter 23, verse 14. That's where we left off last week. So we're going to pick up this week with a little respite of what we read last night that was from Exodus, but we may read it again because we're getting close to that, or maybe we've already covered it. I don't remember, but we're in that area anyway. So get your Bibles handy, and it's going to be great. How you doing? How's your Sunday? What did you get done today? Did you do anything today? Did you rest? Did you have a good evening? Did you lay back and play video games all day while it rained? Did you get out and wash your bike with degreaser? I did. And I got a nice hot cup of coffee as a reward. Thank you. Don't you want to have a cup with me? If so, go to the kitchen, pour yourself a nice hot cup of coffee, and let's get after it. If you don't have a cup or coffee or a kitchen, you can get one in the description below. And I'm not joking. Go look. You can get a kitchen if you don't have one right there. So check it out. And also, like, subscribe, share, support, join, and super chats are available in the chat box. If you want to show a little bit of love, if you want to... You can do that at CashApp, $JakeJohnsonBand, or PayPal.me/JakeJohnsonBand. And one last thing, if you'd like to hang out with us outside of the YouTubeverse, get to know us on a personal level somewhere else, you can do that at Facebook.com/UntetheredLive chillin'. The link is in the chat. It's a great place to hang out and share videos, pictures, text, memes, and chat and get to know each other. There is a private chat over there where you can chat privately, and I recommend you use it. It's there for your enjoyment. Also, there's videos down there that you can look at that are regularly updated. They're all hilariously funny. They're adjacent to or concerning the things we talk about over here. And most of all, they're free. So it's just another little piece of entertainment for your brain. So go check it out. Like, subscribe, share, support, join, and super chat. I think I said that already. Go over there. All right. Who's first in chat? Soph is first in chat. Hey, Soph, you get a gold star for being first in chat. Is this your first gold star ever? Have you never had a gold star before? I used to get them in kindergarten all the time, but for a different reason. How are you, Soph? Welcome to the show. Amanda says, here's your gold star, Soph, and hamburger helper hand. And hi, Untethered Live family. Camel. No, it's Sunday. Oh. I hope everyone had a good weekend. How you, Jake? How are you tonight? Emily. Because I can't be froggy, I guess. I don't know. You say you. Debbie's here. She says, Christ has died. Christ is risen. Christ will come again. Hallelujah. Amen. Truer words have never been spoken. Thank you for that. And hi. Nice to see you. Amanda says, he is risen. With a caduceus and a cross. Nice. And hamburger helper hand Debbie. Amy's here. She says, happy Easter, Soph. Good to see you. Hello, Amy. Nice to see you. Happy Easter. Amy, Amanda says, hamburger helper hand Amy. Amy says, hi, Jake and Amanda and everyone. Hi, how are you? And Soph says, how are you guys? Well, half of us are girls. And the other half of us are me. So, I'm doing okay. How are you? How are the ladies? How are the ladies? I'm sorry. I don't know where that came from. I'm stalling because my chat jumped. Debbie says, hamburger helper hand. That's universal hamburger helper hand. It's all around. Goes for everybody. Linda's here. She says, happy Easter, everyone. Heart. Hi, Linda. Happy Easter. How are you? Nice to see you. How's the family? Did all 30 of them show up? Has anybody helped you wash dishes? Good gracious. Amanda says, Linda, hamburger helper hand. Kevin Bernard. What's up, my brother? Nice to see you. He says, hello, Jake, Amanda, and everyone. Happy Easter. Happy Easter to you, too. Amanda says, Kevin, hamburger helper hand. And something with rabbits and carrots and peeps. Across in the caduceus. Debbie says, Kevin and Linda came in together. You two kids having fun? Oof. Scurry. Amanda says, here's the link to the chilling page if anyone wants to check it out. And Kevin says, Debbie, shh. I hope you kids are having fun. Linda says, hi, Kevin, wavy hand. And Amy says, what do you call a sedated rabbit? The ether bunny. Good gracious, that's hilarious. The ether bunny. It's like, do you know what a walk is? It's something you fool at a wabbit. Kevin says, hello, Linda, act casual. How do you act casual? I don't know how to act casual. It makes me nervous. Amanda says, LOL, Kevin. Bah. Yes, I have a blue tongue. Because I was making out with a Smurf. Smurfy. Kevin says, LOL. Wait, I missed one. Linda says, gotcha. Shh. And Kevin says, LOL. Big John Nugget. What's up, John? Nice to see you. He says, good evening, everyone. Debbie says, cooked out steak on the grill. It was nice out. Man, that sounds good. We had eggs for dinner tonight. Eggs and beef sausage. I think that's what it is. Steak sounds good. We had steak last night, though. Delicious. Our weather was hot and sunny, and then raining and thundering and lightning and cold. And I don't know how that happened. I was sweating an hour ago from the time it started raining, and then it started raining and it was cold. North Carolina. Our weather does whatever the hell it wants to. Maureen's here. Hi, Maureen. She says, hi, folks. Amanda says, nugget, hamburger upper hand. Amy says, Big John, heart. Amanda says, Maureen, hamburger upper hand. Amy says, Maureen, heart. Kevin says, hello, Maureen. And Maureen says, yep, I'm early, LOL. Nice. Way to go. Early bird catches the worm. And worm is what's for dinner. Kevin says, hello, John. And Maureen says, I'm early for me anyhow. Right. Please like and share. Thank you very much. Yes, be a pro. Share the show with every single person you know. Can't go wrong if you just blanket everybody. Amy says, thanks, Maureen. I usually do like and share. I appreciate you both. Thank you for helping get the word out. Maureen says, thanks, Amy, for the invite. And hi, Amanda and Amy and Kevin. What it is. What's up, brother? I was expecting halfway to see you last night. You didn't show. What happened to you? What it is says, I'm here on Sunday for Bible study. Hello, Jake, to all here. Hello. And I'm glad you're here. It's going to be a good one. Maureen says, happy Easter. Happy Easter to you, too. Amanda says, what it is, hamburger upper hand. Linda says, the kids helped to clean up. Well, that's good. At least you had some help. At least it wasn't like you thought it was going to be, all piled on you while everybody else sat in the living room and watched football or whatever you kids do these days. Kevin says, good kids. Yes, very good kids. And Linda says, we just got done. I imagine it's an all-day job. You're feeding 30 people. Gracious. Did everybody show up? Did you have 30 people in the house? I'm proud of you. Kevin says, hello, what it is. And Debbie says, I knew Amanda was Smurfette. Smurfy. Yep. When I met her, she was hoeing around town, sleeping with all the Smurfs. And I made an honest woman out of her. Linda says, what it is, hamburger upper hand. And Amanda says, LOL. That's right, Debbie, smiley face. Grub worm, LOL. You watch your mouth. What it is says, I was catching up on Z's. I missed out Saturday night. It was a good night. I wish you were here, but it was good. And, you know, I understand you need some rest. I'm about to fall asleep on you right now. You see my eyes are trying to close. I got a powerful case of the sleepies about 30 minutes ago, and I ain't got over it yet. And Linda says, no, my 3 granddaughters ended up going to their moms. Oh. So 27 people. Still a big house full. Nugget says, I've been in bed until today. I pulled my back out 3 days ago and broke into my mailbox and had a month worth of letters there. Jesus. Well, I'm sorry you pulled your back out. I'm glad you're feeling better, though. Debbie says, Amanda can smurf that smurf real smurfing good. Right on. Smurf 3000, you know what I'm saying? And Amanda says, yippers, Debbie. What it is says, smiley, smiley. Amy says, John, prayers and hugs. All right, we'll go for just a couple more minutes, and then we'll get started. Give everybody a chance to roll in and smoke another cigarette, and then we'll get after it. I got out in the yard and was degreasing my bike, you know. It's overdue for a cleaning real bad. And shining her up, and I got some steel wool and got on it. And I was scared it was going to scratch the chrome, you know. But it didn't. It didn't scratch the chrome at all, and it took some stuff off that I didn't think was ever going to come off, and she's looking right pretty. I do have some pictures, but I don't have them set up to show you. But I do have some, so they might pop up later on in the week. Soph says, please pray for me. I've got a cold. Oh, Lord. That's grim. You're in dire straits, aren't you? We will certainly pray for you. Father, please watch over Soph and her cold and see to it that she doesn't die from the overexposure. We ask that you rescue her from her time of need and pull her back from the brink of losing everything. And we ask that you make sure that she has plenty of fluids. Thank you, Father, in Jesus' precious name. Amen. I hope that helps. Amy says, so prayers. What it is says, is that tire staying up? Yes, we got, everything's done. I fixed all of it. I got a new tire, new inner tube, new sprocket, new primary centrifugal clutch thingy, new rotor, new bell, new generator, a new chain tensioner. What else? Brakes on the front and the back. Brand new brakes, brand new rotors. Got all of the the inside of the rotors replaced, rebuild kit on both sides. Got it all done this weekend. And she's running like a champ. Calipers, that's what I was looking for. Not rotors, calipers. You know, the things that the brakes are in, that pushes the brakes in. There's a bunch of seals and cups in there that the brake fluid pushes into the brake that causes it to stop. I had to rebuild both calipers. But she's doing good so far. and she's charging, so I don't have to charge it up every time I stop. I don't have to look for where to park close to a plug-in on the outside of a building. So, excellent. All things are in the green right now. I don't know how to act, but thank you for asking. 2 brand new tires on the front and back. Brand new inner tube on the back. I'm sure there's something else I'm forgetting, but I did a bunch of stuff to the bike, so if it comes to me, I'll tell you. Maureen says, Nugget, prayers for a quick healing. Back injuries are no fun. You're absolutely right about that. And Soph says, thank you for praying for me. You're one of us, Soph. Sort of. I mean, if computers can join clubs, you're one of us. John says, thanks, everyone. Prayers. And Debbie says, I was going to identify as your bike until you brought up the steel wool. So now I'll have to pass. You can't handle a little steel wool? All it does is get the crud off of you and make you shiny. You can identify as the front half of my bike or the seat. I didn't put any steel wool on the seat. Amanda says, LOL, Debbie. Well, she shined up nice. She sure did. And what it is says, you have been busy. Oh, yeah. I've been going after it all weekend. I've spent about 12 hours on it this weekend. Or maybe a little more. I don't know. You have been a busy bee. I see it now. Thank you. Just had to get done. I don't have a whole lot of time, so I got to save up and then splurge and get everything done in one day, whenever I have the day to do it. It's not the best way to live, but there's nobody else around here to help me, so it has to be that way. But I took it for a ride today, and she's smooth, purring like a kitten. Oh, I also fixed my exhaust pipe. It was making a weird noise. I fixed that. Got them Vance and Hines exhausts on there. High dollar Harley Davidson stuff. Still sounds like a sewing machine. I don't know. I don't know what you do to make it sound like that. It's not normal. Comes from the factory. It sounds like a sewing machine. But, I see guys that have Harleys and they hit them. You know how they do. Have that typical Harley Davidson sound. The potato sound. Potato. Yeah, mine don't do that. And I've got the high dollar pipes, so I don't know why it don't do that. That shows you how much I know about bikes. Kevin says, loose baffle inside the back of the exhaust pipe. Yeah, well, this case, it fits over a piece. The pipe that you see is fake, right? The chrome, that's all an addition to the pipe. The pipe's inside of that, and it fits up underneath the bike into a little cup, and it had come apart when I crashed it the other day, and was just basically open exhaust into the air. It wasn't going through the pipes, so I was able to put it back in and set it right. But the part that you see on the bike, the chrome part, that's not actually the tailpipe. The tailpipe's behind that. Amanda says, I've been beating him up on Mario 3 today, too. Yeah, we've been playing a little bit of that game that John recommended us, so we got. And it's quite fun. Thank you, John. Although I would like to ask, do you have any issues with your controller not responding properly? Because I have that issue. It's like it's not as tight as the Nintendo controller is. It works. But sometimes when I press a button, it doesn't exactly do what I expect it to do. It leads to me getting killed a lot. It may just be the nature of what it is. I mean, it's a ROM player, so it's generic from the start. And it's probably made by the lowest bidder in China. I'm imagining that's what the problem is, but we'll see. Oh, Kevin, were you saying that's how they make it sound like that? They take the baffle out? Yeah, I know they do that, but every time I've ever seen them do that, it don't sound good. It sounds like a broken exhaust pipe, you know. There's a certain thing that they do that makes it sound like a Harley, and I'm not sure what it is. Debbie says, Amanda, that is Jake abuse. She likes abusing me. And John says, a little bit. That's what does to mine is China cheap. Oh, yeah. That's what I thought it was. Also, it's got like a PlayStation type controller, and we're playing Nintendo games, which come with a different kind of controller. So there's a little bit of disconnect there in what you're expecting and how the character responds. But I guess if you get used to it, it's just as good as anything else. You just have to reprogram your brain to measure it as it is instead of as you expect it to be. All right. It is 8:23. It's almost time to go. So get your Bibles handy and crack them open to the great book of Exodus, chapter 23, verse 14, and let's get after it, shall we? Debbie says, I used to play video games with my husband topless. He said that was unfair. It is unfair. How can he concentrate on the game? Mine's like an Xbox controller. Okay. Amy says, I was going to go to the urgent care clinic today, but it was closed for Easter. Why? Why did you need to go to urgent care? Are you okay? Amanda says, good idea, Debbie. Are you okay? Do you need us to call somebody? What's ailing you? We don't need you getting hospital sick. Pneumonia symptoms again. Are you having a lot of weather changes up there like we are here? Hot and cold, hot and cold. Amber's here. She says, good evening, friends. Hi, Amber. We're just about to get started. I'm just opening my book now. Amanda says, blah. Thank you. Sorry, I just got a tweet. I don't ever get tweets. It's kind of weird. I'll have to answer that later. Kevin says, hello, Amber. And Amy says, thanks for the gift, Glitter Grounds. Thanks for the card, Glitter Grounds. Sorry. And Amber says, hearts and prayers. Linda says, Amber, hamburger brand, or a blah. Amber says, you're welcome, Amy. I sent out 22 of them. And Maureen says, tweet, LOL. Tweedly-dee, tweet, Rockin' Robin. His first song I ever heard my daddy play was Rockin' Robin. He was a guitar player, too. A lot like me, actually. Which is surprising, because I only heard him play one time, and I was a little boy. Like, I was 8 years old or 7 years old when I heard him. But I remember it. But I grew up and became a guitar player and went on to, play big shows and all that. Well, when I was in my 20s, I went to my aunt's house after he died, many years after he died. She had found a cassette tape of him recorded playing his guitar. And when she played it for me, I thought it was me on there because his style was so close to mine that it sounded like me. I have a very unique way of playing the guitar, and it was just strange that I never realized that way that I play guitar that's so unique to me, I inherited it. My father played that way too, and that kind of blew my mind a little bit. I wish I had that tape. And Maureen says, yeah, thanks for the cards, Amber. We got our card too. Thank you. All right. Chapter 23, verse 14 in the great book of Exodus, and it reads, 3 times thou shalt keep a feast unto me in the year. Thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread. Thou shalt eat unleavened bread for 7 days as I commanded thee, in the time appointed in the month of Abib, or April. Abib is the first month, April. For in it thou camest out from Egypt, and none shall appear before me empty. That means you have no excuse. You came out of Egypt. You are no longer a slave. You are now a free human being. And when you come to me, you better be full. You better be prepared. You better have a sacrifice ready to go to offer me. You do not come to me empty-handed, is what it means. And the feast of harvest, and the first fruits of thy labor, which thou hast sown in the field, and the feast of the ingathering. That's the people coming together, like a feast for them. Notice the word feast. Somebody was on here the other day. Remember, a priest was questioning me and calling me names? And they said that I've never seen in the Bible where they talk about eating the sacrifices. Let me point the word empty up here. When God said you shouldn't come before me, appear before me empty, he means empty-handed, meaning bring a sacrifice. That's the point. And that's what these feasts are about, sacrificing and getting together and having an event. What does he call it? The feast of where's it at? Ingathering feast. That's where everybody comes together and eats the sacrifice. When thou hast gathered in thy labors out of the field, when you have pulled in your harvest and everything's collected, and you got everything tucked away, you take the best of it and you bring it to the feast 7 times a year. I'm sorry, 3 times a year. No, it is 7 times a year. I'm sorry, my brain ain't working too good. Three times in the year all thy males shall appear before the Lord God. 3 times a year bring every man in the village to be presented before God. Thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread, neither shall the fat of my sacrifice remain until morning. So when you have these feasts, you eat everything. You don't leave anything until morning. That's what he's saying. And again, this is reiterating they're getting together to sacrifice and then eat the sacrifice. I'm stressing this point because I was recently called on it. Somebody said that the Bible never said anything about eating the sacrifice. They were calling me wrong. Here it is in black and white. That's exactly what you do with. It's like a barbecue, and that's what I was being called on. And I called it a barbecue. It's exactly what it is. Hi, Ladina. Welcome. I need to mark my chat so I don't lose my place. 8:27. The first of the first fruits of thy land thou shalt bring into the house of the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not see the kid in his mother's milk. Broil. You shouldn't do that. You cook it over fire. Don't broil it, and don't make a stew out of it. If you use the mother's milk or water or anything, seasons, you make a broth or a stew or something like that, That's not the way to do a sacrifice. It's more like how we do pig pickings, where you take the whole animal and put it on a spit, legs, head, and all. Don't even take the fur off of it. Just put it on a fire and cook it until it falls apart. And then you go pull the meat out and eat it. It's kind of how that works. Behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared. I am sending an angel to follow you on your journey to keep you on track. He's probably annoying and has an itinerary. He wants to make sure you hit all the gift shops and don't stray off the course. Make sure that you get there on time, seated properly. One of those angels. Beware of him. He's annoying. Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not. For he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Hello. This is the death angel that is taking them on their journey. You don't want to make that guy mad. You want to do what he says do. But if thou shalt indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak. Do you know who this is, by the way? 10 points if you know who this angel's name is. I'll give you a clue. God said, my name is in him, and if you obey all that I speak, when a second ago he said the angel would give you commands and you would obey the command of the angel, but it's God's voice. So who's doing the talking? Anybody? Have you been listening to me long enough to know who has the voice of God? Amy, 10 points. Go, girl. It is Gabriel, the archangel. That is correct. Good. I'm proud of you. Let's continue. But if thou shalt indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy unto thine enemies, and an adversary unto thine adversaries. In other words, your problems will be my problems if you're one of my people. If you're on my crew, I will be the guy protecting you. That's what he's saying. If you obey my voice, your enemies will be my enemies and your adversaries will be mine. That's the guy you want on your team. Believe that. So do what he says do. For mine angel shall go before thee and bring thee in unto the Amorites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Canaanites and the Hivites and the Jebusites. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 of the 9 tribes that live in Canaan. And I will cut them off. They are getting evicted. If you'll do what I tell you to do, you'll waltz in there and kick them people out, and the land will be yours. That's what he's saying. Thou shalt not bow down to their gods, lowercase g, nor serve them, nor do after their works. Very poignant to say this on Ishtar. But thou shalt utterly overthrow them and quite break down their images. Make them go away. That is the reason they're getting kicked out of this land, because they stopped believing in God and started following false gods. And God don't care for that very much. So they've lost their rights. Their evil doings have made God turn his back on them. That's why they're getting kicked out of Canaan. A lot of times I hear people say, God commanded people to go in and kill everybody. That's a tyrannical God. No. First of all, those people are not human beings. They don't belong here. Literally, they are alien to this planet. Number 2, they lost their privileges. They were given that land first, and they lost their right to it because they turned their back on God. And God got tired of them, so he wants them gone. Thirdly, this is a judgment being carried out on them, and Israel is the instrument by which that judgment is carried out. You have to do a lot of reading between the lines to figure out why they're being judged, but it's very simple. Idolatry, that's the main reason. So break down their images and overthrow their lowercase g gods. And ye shall serve the Lord your God, and he shall bless thy bread and thy water. And I will take sickness away from the midst of thee. If you serve him, he will take sickness away from you. There shall nothing cast their young, nor be barren in thy land. The number of thy days I will fulfill. There will be no miscarriages or abortions, if you want to call it that, or dead babies, stillbirths. There'll be none of that. Nobody will be barren. Everybody will be producing children in an abundance. And you will have long and fruitful lives, and I will fulfill your life. It will be full of whatever it is you decide to do. That's what God is promising here. April, hello, darling. She says, Happy Easter, family. Jesus, our Father God. Amen. Prayers and hearts and smiley faces. And thank you for renewing your membership for 23 months. Thank you very much. What a way to go. I will send my fear before thee, and I will destroy all the people to whom thou shalt come, and I will make all thine enemies turn their backs unto thee. It'll be a force to be reckoned with. God will fight the battle before you ever get there, and there won't be much for you to have to do at all, because he's going to pretty much destroy them and then make them run, as God is wont to do, if you obey him. It's very easy to obey God. 10 commandments, that's it. That's all you got to worry about. Half of them you do automatically anyway. You don't even have to try. I will send hornets before thee, which shall drive out the Hivites, the Canaanites, and the Hittites from before thee. I will not drive them out from before thee in 1 year, lest the land become desolate, and the beast of the field multiply against thee. So we don't want to get rid of them quickly. They have to still take care of the land while you're setting up shop, or else you're going to move into a place that you can't handle. It'll be overrun with beasts. The land won't be producing food, so we don't want to just kill them off immediately. We want to drive them out in small numbers, little at a time, take over areas instead of the whole country. It's actually kind of smart. So God continues, by little and little, or as we would say, little by little, I will drive them out from before thee until thou be increased and inherit the land. You're not taking it, you're inheriting it, which means it'll be ready to produce food, and there'll be houses and animals and everything for you to just take over. You won't have to do any work to get started if you do it slowly and in small increments. If you just go in like gangbusters and kick everybody out, now you've got this land that you have no idea where everything is or how to do anything, you know. I will set thy bounds from the Red Sea even unto the sea of the Philistines, and from the desert unto the river, from the river to the sea. For I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and thou shalt drive them out before thee. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor with their gods, lowercase g. Don't do any deals with these people. Don't listen to their gods. Don't haggle with them. Don't have a conversation with them. They are not the same as you. They shall not dwell in thy land, lest they make thee sin against me. Why can't they live together, Jake? Why does God have to kill everybody? Why can't the Israelites and the people coexist? Don't you know about coexist? It's very popular these days. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot put a square peg in a round hole. These are different human beings. They are programmed, they're wired differently. They will not fit in our society as a Western type society. They don't want what we're selling. And if you go commingle with them, before too long, their habits are going to start rubbing off on you. And then you will be caused by their actions to sin against the very God that gave you freedom and a place to go. Don't do it that way. Don't even talk to these people. They're not your friends. For if thou serve their gods, it will surely be a snare unto thee. Well, why is that? Can't you just go and friendly serve somebody else's God? No, because it'll be a snare to you, because those gods are not real gods. They cannot save you. They cannot heal you. They cannot deliver you. They cannot fulfill a promise to you. They are fake. Fake news. All over the place. So you have to understand, God already knows all this. These people do not. And he said unto Moses, come up unto the Lord, thou and Aaron, you and your brother, come on up here, and bring Nadab and Abihu and 70 of the elders, and worship you afar off. That's 72 people, not including Aaron and Moses. So that's 74 in total. This is important because numbers are important in the Bible. 74 is a significant number. I don't know what the significant is. I'm just telling you it is significant. You can do a little research into that. And Moses alone shall come up near to the Lord, but they shall not come near, neither shall the people go up with him. Meaning, Moses, you and Aaron walk towards me. Bring 70 elders halfway, or 72 elders halfway. They cannot come any further than that. They're allowed to be closer so that they can observe what is going on, so that they can report to the Israelites that what Moses says is true. That's the reason for this. The people cannot cross the barrier that was built when they got there. They put up a perimeter fence around the mountain and told, under no circumstance do you cross this line. If you cross this line, you will be killed. Now God is saying, bring 72 elders, people that are of stature, people that are respected, people that have the wisdom in the camp. Bring 72 of them halfway so that they can see what's happening. And then you and Aaron come forward. They can't come any closer, and the Israelites can't come any closer. But you and Aaron can, as they make their way to the top of Mount Sinai. And Moses alone will come near God. Even Aaron can't do that. And Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord and all the judgments, and all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which the Lord hath said will we do. Bullshit. Sorry. They were in complete agreement. Thousands of people. I think it was like 6 million people altogether. I don't remember the exact number, but we're talking about all the Israelites. And they were in complete agreement at this time. Not tomorrow, but right now. Everything God said we'll do. Everything. No hesitation. Sounds nice. Can they do it? We'll see. And Moses wrote all the words of the Lord, and rose up early in the morning, and builded an altar under the hill, and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel, which is still there to this day. You can find those pillars. And on them, interestingly enough, are carved pictures of cows, like the golden calf that they were worshiping at the foot of the hill while Moses was up there talking to God. Yeah. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, which offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen unto the Lord. And Moses took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. Why? Because that purifies the altar. The only thing that can cover sin is blood, apparently, because the life is in the blood. I don't know why. These are God's rules, not mine. And then he took the book of the covenant, which is different than the Bible, because they didn't have the Bible. They were still writing it. But they had the book of the covenant, which is the promises of God written down. And he read it in the audience of the people, and they said, all that the Lord hath said will we do, and be obedient. Well, that's a good promise, but is it true? We'll have to wait and see. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people, and they said, ew, what are you doing? They didn't say that. And they said, and he said, behold, the blood of the covenant, which the Lord hath made with you concerning all these words. All right, think about the symbology here. They had a sacrifice. They took some of the blood and sprinkled it on the altar to purify it where the sacrifice was made. And then he took the rest of it and sprinkled it on the people. They were literally bathed in blood, washed in the blood of the Lamb. Okay? This is the symbology of the exact same thing that will happen when Jesus is born and die. Then we become symbolically washed in the blood of that Lamb, which is the sacrifice. Never to need another one after this one. So you can say, in a way, 2,500 years before the birth of Christ, there was a man in the desert symbolically acting out his death to the people. Because that also is a covenant, a new covenant with God, a covenant that Jesus brought into the world. And they said, we will obey and be obedient. All of the words that God said. Then went up Moses and Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, and 70 elders of Israel, and they saw the God of Israel with their eyes. And there was under his feet, as it were, a paved work of sapphire stone, and as it were the body of heaven in the clearness, in his clearness. It was like looking at heaven, and where his feet were sapphire stone. You know what sapphire looks like? It's very bright and blue-ish, or sapphire, really. And then looking at God, he had the body of clearness like heaven, like looking into space, right? I don't know how to describe that other than imagine looking into outer space. That's what looking at God kind of looks like, apparently. And upon the nobles of the children of Israel he laid not his hand. Also they saw God and did eat and drink. Eat and drink what? What were they eating and drinking? The sacrifice. Catholics. Anyway. And the Lord said unto Moses, come up to me into the mount, and be there. And I will give thee tables of stone, and a law, and commandments which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. Very simple. Come on up into the mountain, Moses, by yourself. You got a strong back, right? Because these are kind of heavy. They are 15 commandments of God. On 3 stones. Moses comes down. These are the 15 commandments. These are the 10 commandments of God. Sorry. And Moses rose up, and his minister Joshua, and Moses went up into the mount of God, Sinai. So Joshua came too. So that's 75 people. That number also is significant. That appears again in Israel, 75. And he said unto the elders, Tarry ye here for us, until we come again unto you. And behold, Aaron and Hur are with you. Now this guy Hur, you ever see that movie Ben-Hur? The word Ben-Hur means son of Hur. That Hur, the guy that's in the Bible with Moses. That's what that movie's about, his son. Just so you know. If any man have any matters to do, let him come unto them. Them. Don't come unto us. When we go up, you stay here. Do not come after us. That's what he's saying. And Moses went up into the mount, and a cloud covered the mount. As he went up, cloud descended on the mountain and covered the top of it. It's a very dark cloud with lightning and thunder coming out of it. And also, unto this day, the top of that mountain is still black. So I'm assuming it was either irradiated or burned while he was up there, because it turned the whole top of the mountain black, and it's still black. There's black stones up there. Everything's black about the very tip of the mountain. The summit, I guess you would call it. And the sight of the glory of the Lord was like devouring fire on top of the mountain in the eyes of the children of Israel. It was like the whole mountaintop was just engulfed in flame. That's what looking at God was like. And they saw him with their own eyes. And Moses went into the midst of the cloud and gat him up into the mountain. And Moses was in the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights, just like the flood, 40 days and 40 nights. Moses and Noah with their 40s. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring me an offering of every man that giveth it willingly with his heart. Ye shall take of my offering. Take my offering. Don't read over that, boys and girls. Every man, that's woman and child too, every man, mankind, that gives willingly to God, the man who's accepting should accept it from them, and God will notify or notarize that blessing with a blessing, if you understand what I'm saying. When you give to God, he gives back to you. It's a reciprocal behavior, as I've said many times, and this points it out. But you have to be willing. You can't give in duress. You can't give because you're guilted into it. You can't give because that person gave and you don't want to be outdone. You can't have an ulterior motive. It has to be willingness from your heart, right? When you give freely to God, he gives back to you. He blesses it because it's a free gift, and that's what God trades in is freedom. If that makes any sense. I'm trying to describe something here that I barely can understand myself, but I think I got it handled. When you give to God, make sure you're doing it of your own accord and freely, and don't feel bad about it. Don't begrudge it or anything like that. Do it because you love God, period. And this is the offering which ye shall take from them, gold and silver and brass, and blue and purple and scarlet, and fine linens, and goat's hair, and ram skins dyed red, because those look better, and badger skins, and shittim wood, which is not what you think it is. It's acacia. Oil for the light, spices for anointing oil, and for sweet incense, onyx stones, and stones to be set in the ephod and then the breastplate. What is an ephod and a breastplate? We'll get to that in about 3 chapters, but don't worry about that right now. But I don't know what it is, God. Yeah, I know. I'm going to explain all that later is what I'm trying to tell you. There's people reading this in the future, and you just have to bear with me. It's called a narrative. I'll tell you what an ephod and a breastplate is when we get to it. But right now, you need to know that they're going to put stones in it, and it's going to be bad. You just have to wear it and look cool, but never mind the details. Just go collect stuff. Okay. Let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell amongst them. Yes, it's called a tabernacle. which we'll also get to when we get to it. It's not something you need to know about right now, Moses. We're kind of in the middle of a thing. I don't need to stop. I'm flowing right now, Moses. I don't need to stop and explain everything to you. Just listen. According to all that I show thee after the pattern of the tabernacle. What tabernacle? The one we're going to build later. Okay. And the pattern of all the instruments thereof. There's instruments? Yes. Do we have a band? No. Then why do we have instruments? Because I like music. Stop interrupting me. Even so you shall make it. And they shall make an ark of shittim wood. Like the big one with all the animals? No. A smaller one. Well, how are you going to get all the animals? It's not that kind of ark. It's hard to get good help these days. 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and a cubit and a half shall be the breadth thereof, and a cubit and a half shall be the height thereof. I don't know how you're going to get more than a couple of chickens in that. It's not that kind of ark, Moses. Jesus. Who's Jesus? Never mind. God. I know who that is. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold. Within and without shalt thou overlay it, and thou shalt make upon it a crown of gold round about. I'm assuming we're getting all this gold from the people. Yeah. Because I don't have any right now. I'm God. I can make you gold. But you want me to get it from the people? Yes, so that they can feel like they're involved. I think I'm starting to understand. Thank you. Can I continue? Sure. All right. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold within and without, and thou shalt make upon it a crown of gold round about the top, and thou shalt cast 4 rings of gold for it, and put them into 4 corners thereof. What? Nothing. I just thought you were going to interrupt me again. I'm listening. Rings. Right. And thou shalt make staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold, and thou shalt put the staves into the rings by the sides of the ark, so you can carry it. Yeah, now you're getting it. Still don't know what you're going to do with the chickens. What? Oh, who brought up chickens? It's not that kind of ark. You know those big stones that you got to lug down the mountain? Yeah, you're going to put those in that. Well, can I have it now so I don't have to tote the... Just you get down the mountain and build that thing, and we'll put the stones in it, and then other people can carry it for you. Well, thanks a lot. They don't have to climb down a mountain with 2 stones. You ever heard the word smite? And thou shalt put staves into the rings by the sides of the ark, and the ark may be borne with them. In other words, they may pick it up and carry it. And the staves shall be in the rings of the ark. You've said that. I know. I repeat myself a lot. And they shall not be taken away from it. You don't take them out. Well, why put them in rings? Why not just attach them to the side of the ark? Because it's pretty? Okay, I buy that. And thou shalt put into the ark the testimony which I shall give thee. Again, can I have the ark now? Be nice to have it now, because I got to walk down a mountain toting these things. Remember, you wouldn't let anybody else come up? Means I got to tote them. And thou shalt make a mercy seat of pure gold. What now? Sorry, what's a mercy seat? It's like a regular seat, only it has mercy. Thanks a lot. 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and a cubit and a half shall be the breadth thereof. You've said this much. I know, I repeat myself a lot. And thou shalt make 2 cherubims of gold. What now? I'm sorry, I don't know what a cherubim is. What is that? It's like an angel, but it's a baby. Why would an angel be a baby? Why were you a baby? Okay. Just it has wings. Well, why? Why put it? Because I need a backrest. It's going to be, the wings will be like this, and it'll form a seat. Remember, mercy seat? I need a place to sit. Okay. Makes sense. Thank you. Can I continue? Yes. Make 2 cherubims of gold, of beaten works shalt thou make them, and the 2 ends of the mercy seat. cherubim here and a cherubim here, 2 wings this way, 2 wings that way, makes a seat. Anyway, make 1 cherubim on the one end and the other cherubim on the other end. Even of the mercy seat shall ye make the cherubims on the 2 ends thereof. You're being really hypercritical right now, but I got the seat thing. Why do you have to say it like that? Nothing. You said people were reading this. It's just going to sound really weird if you keep repeating yourself like that over and over again. I want to make sure they get it. I got it. Yeah, but I'm telling you, they're going to read it 1,000 years from now. They're not going to get it. Trust me, they'll get it. Okay. You just let me do. I created this world. I brought you into it. I can take you out of it. Let me do me. All right, God, I'm just trying to be helpful. And the cherubims shall stretch forth their wings on high, covering the mercy seat with the wings, and their faces shall look one to another. Towards the mercy seat shall the faces of the cherubims be. Like they're surprised to see me. This is kind of funny. Yeah, it is kind of funny. I like it. And thou shalt put the mercy seat above upon the ark. Well, yeah, it'd be kind of dumb to put it under it. So it's like a seat, but it's also like a lid. Yeah. All right, I'm starting to see this thing. And in the ark, why do you keep calling it an ark? Why don't you call it a box? That's a much better word, and it doesn't confuse people with the bigger box that you had earlier. No. This is a different kind of ark. Thou shalt put the mercy seat on the ark, and in the ark shalt thou put the testimony that I shall give thee. Yes, you said so. I repeat myself a lot. Okay. And there I will meet with thee, and I will commune with thee from above the mercy seat, from between the 2 cherubims, which are upon the ark of the testimony of all things, which I will give thee in the commandment unto the children of Israel. One question. You're here now, right? And everything's ablaze, and there's a big cloud, and it's kind of scary to everybody. So you're going to come down and sit on this mercy seat. Isn't that going to burn everything up? I can control it. I'm doing a thing right now. I'm trying to make an impression. I can pull it in. It'll be much smaller, I promise. Okay. Now, I guess you're God. You can appear any way you want to, but it just seems to me like if it were me building the thing, I would make it fireproof at least. You're not wrong, Moses. Thou shalt also make a table of shittim wood. 2 cubits shall be the length thereof, and a cubit the breadth thereof, and a cubit and a half the length or the height thereof, to put the ark on top of? No, it's for bread. What? Trust me, you'll understand in a minute. We're getting there. Right now we're doing the ark thing. We're starting to do the table thing. I'll tell you when we get to it. What's bread got to do with it? You're making a seat. I get that. And a box to put the tablets in. I get that. And a table for not to put the ark on? No, it's just a different kind of table. A table, 4 legs and a top. Yeah, a table. Why not put the ark on it? Because the bread's going to be there. It'll smush the bread, and nobody will get any bread. What is this obsession with bread all of a sudden? Trust me, you're going to need bread. Jesus, it's going to make this very hard to get through if you keep interrupting me. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold, of course. Thereunto a crown of gold round about, just like the ark. And thou shalt make unto it a border of a hand's breadth round about. So a wide crown around the top of the table. And thou shalt make a golden crown to the border thereof round about. So it's like a crown, but it has an edge, if that makes any sense. And thou shalt make for it 4 rings of gold, and put the rings on the 4 corners that are on the 4 feet thereof, to carry it, right? Yes. Why do you need to carry a table? Can't you just pick the table up? You're going to be toting all of this stuff in a procession. Well, it'd be nice if you tell me that to start with. So we're doing a parade thing. Not exactly. You're doing a traveling thing, but you got to carry this with you. So you need sticks to carry it on. That makes sense. Ever heard of a caravan? You did make camels, right? No, I want you to tote it, but only the Levites. Wow, there's a lot to this tabernacle thing. Over against the border shall the rings be for places for staves to bear the table. And thou shalt make the staves of shittim wood, of course, we're doing shittim wood, all right, and overlay them with gold, that the table may be borne with them. And thou shalt make the dishes thereof, and spoons thereof, and covers thereof, and bowls thereof, to cover withal. Of pure gold shalt thou make them. And thou shalt set upon the table showbread before me always. See, I told you we would get to the bread. I just don't understand why we need bread, because it's a tabernacle. I don't know what a tabernacle is. It's a tent. I have a tent. It's a special tent, a big special tent for everybody. So we're all going to live in one tent? No, you're just going to worship there. So it's like a church. Yes, it's like a church. We don't have churches. We have temples. I'm going to hurt you if you don't stop. For real. We're going to be here all night if you don't stop. Okay. 40 days. It's going to take 40 days to tell you this if you don't stop interrupting me. And thou shalt make a candlestick of pure gold. Now we're doing it at night. I see. Why do we need to do it at night? Because services last a while. Of beaten works shall the candlestick be made, his shaft, and his branches, and his bowls, and his knops. I'm not telling you what a knop is. Don't interrupt me. And his flowers shall be of the same. His 6 branches, candle. No. Menorah. Oh, I see. It's like a Jewish thing. Yeah. 6 branches shall come out of the sides of it. 3 branches of the candlestick out of the one side, and 3 branches of the candlestick out of the other side. 3 bowls made like unto almonds with knops. I'm not telling you what a knop is. And a flower in one branch. And 3 bowls made like an almond in the other branch, with knops and flowers. So in the 6 branches that come out of the candlestick will be knops and flowers and branches. You got it? I don't know what a knop is. I'm not telling you. Go look it up. I don't have a dictionary. You don't have a Bible, but you know all the rest of this stuff. That guy, I'm telling you. It's hard to get good help. And the candlesticks shall be 4 bowls made like unto almonds, with their knops and their flowers. And there shall be a knop under 2 branches. Yes, I'm going to keep saying the word knop because you don't know what it is and it annoys you, and I find that funny. Sorry. Under 2 branches of the same, and a knop under the 2 branches of the same, and a knop under 2 branches of the same. I just read that 3 times. Yes, I did. It's written 3 times. I didn't repeat myself. According to the 6 branches that proceed out of the candlestick. So there's 3 knops. Why didn't you just say 3 knops? Because I wanted to repeat it. Because right now it's making my day that you're just coming out unglued with questions. Their knops and their branches shall be of the same. Of the same what? Gold. It shall be one beaten work of pure gold. So this whole candlestick is one piece, is what he's saying. You don't put it together. You make it like a cast. Maybe like an early version of smelting, where you put the metal in hot and it fits into a mold and then cools off, and then you have one solid piece. Something like that. And thou shalt make 7 lamps thereof, and they shall light the lamps thereof, that they may give light over against it. This is a good question, I promise. Okay, what? You just told me in excruciating detail how to do a candlestick. Yeah. What do we need lamps for? Because candles aren't that bright. Oh, that actually makes sense. Carry on. And the tongs thereof, and the snuff dishes thereof, shall be of pure gold. Of a talent of pure gold shall he make it with all these vessels. A talent, I don't know the exact weight. Amanda can probably pull that up and put it in the chat, but it's a large amount of gold. So they're taking a whole bunch of gold in a certain unit of measurement, and they're using that measurement of gold to make all of these things with. So altogether, it equals a talent of gold. It seems like it was 234 pounds, but I can't remember exactly what it is. Amanda, if you can, find out what a talent of gold is so we understand the weight of all of this stuff that they're carrying. And look that thou make them after their pattern, which was showed thee in the mount. In other words, make sure that they all match. Branding is important. You want to look at these things and know that they came from God's house, right? So make sure it all has God's logo on it or whatever, however they're doing it. Make sure they all match, is what he's saying. Moreover, thou shalt make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of fine twined linen, and blue and purple and scarlet, with cherubims of cunning work shalt thou make them. Cunning work means to embroider or crochet, or however they do that. Old style stuff. Women know this better than men do, but that's what cunning work means, is to, sew it in there. Make cherubims, little pictures of cherubims all over the curtains. I'm guessing some type of embroidery. The length of one curtain shall be 28 cubits, 28 cubits, big curtain. And the breadth of one curtain, 4 cubits, a very thin, long curtain. Why? Because it goes over the tabernacle like that, from floor to floor, over it. And there's a bunch of them, so they go across it this way, and then they have another covering, and then another covering, and then a top. So it's a very sturdy tent by the time they're done with it. The 5 curtains shall be coupled together one to another, and the other 5 curtains shall be coupled together one to another. So there's 10 altogether on top. So that's 4 times 5 times 2. Yep, 40. So the length of the tabernacle would be 40 cubits. Anyway, or at least the length of the tabernacle that these curtains cover would be 40 cubits. It's a pretty big tent, is what I'm saying. You've seen a revival tent, how they pitch it, or a circus tent, how they pitch it up? It's kind of like that. Only much more sturdy. And completely mobile. They can break it down and move it along. And thou shalt make loops of blue upon the edges of the one curtain from the selvage in the coupling. Selvage is the edge that's folded over. In the coupling, and likewise shalt thou make the uttermost edge of another curtain in the coupling of the second. So basically these curtains hook together, right? When they go over the thing and then they hook together or snap together, so that they all become one large curtain, if you can imagine that. 50 loops shalt thou make in one curtain, and 50 loops shalt thou make in the edge of the curtain that it is in the coupling of the second, that the loop that the loops may take hold one of another. Basically, it's the whole curtain long this way but thin, and then another curtain is laid down, and then they stitch it all together with these loops. I don't know if they use pins or if the loops are Velcro or whatever it is. They figure out a way that they're snapped together all the way over the whole structure so that the two become one, and then they attach another one to it and another one and another one till they get to the end. Thou shalt make 50 taches of gold. That's the thing that they put through the loops to hold it together. And couple the curtains together with the taches, and it shall be one tabernacle after all of them are put together. And thou shalt make curtains of goat's hair to be a covering upon the tabernacle. 11 curtains shalt thou make. So now they've got those curtains, and then there's another layer of goat's hair that goes on top of that. The length of one curtain shall be 30 cubits, and the breadth of one curtain shall be 4 cubits. So they're slightly longer than the first curtains, but the same width. Why? Because they got to go over top of those curtains and touch the ground, so they have to be a little bit longer and then be pinned into the ground. The length of one curtain shall be 30 cubits, and the breadth 4 cubits, and 11 curtains shall be all of one measure. Same thing all the way across. Thou shalt couple 5 curtains by themselves, and 6 curtains by themselves. That's 11, 5 and 6. And shalt double the 6th curtain in the forefront of the tabernacle. All right. So that means that when you get to the edge of the tabernacle, the front edge, there's one curtain hanging over the edge, and then they flip that back over on top of it. So it's doubled up on that edge, right? That makes sense? Like you fold your bed down, it's got a double layer at the top. I guess that gives the front edge more strength. Thou shalt couple, I read that one, for the forefront of the tabernacle. And thou shalt make 50 loops on the edge of the one curtain that is outmost of the coupling, and 50 loops on the edge of the curtain with the couple of which couple at the second. Again, with the thatches and the loops holding those curtains together. And thou shalt make 50 taches of brass. Notice they're not gold, they're brass. Why? Because they're a higher level. They don't have to be gold, and they're more closer to the elements, so the brass will last longer and be stronger. Gold is kind of soft, in case you didn't know. And put the taches in the loops and couple the tent together, that it may be one. Also, another reason to make them brass is so that you can tell that those taches go to those curtains and not the ones below it, so you don't get them mixed up when you're tearing the thing down. Gold goes in one bucket, brass goes in the other bucket. They don't get separated, so that you can put them back where they belong. God is a stickler for details. And the remnant that remaineth of the curtains of the tent, the half curtain that remaineth, shall hang over the back side of the tabernacle. So if you did your measurements while we were talking, you'll note that one side of the tabernacle has a folded over curtain. There's 11 curtains, so it's only 10 curtains wide. So those 11 curtains, one's folded over, but the length of the tabernacle is slightly shorter than the length of the curtains. So on the back side, it hangs over, an overhang. You have that on your house, an overhang, so the rain falls off or the dust or whatever's happening and doesn't go into the tabernacle. So it's just a little extra protection on the back side. And a cubit on the side, and a cubit on the one side, and a cubit on the other side of that which remaineth in the length of the curtains of the tent. It shall hang over the sides of the tabernacle, on this side and on that side, to cover it. So you've got overhangs all the way around, front, back, and both sides. That's the second curtain that goes up top. And thou shalt make a covering for the tent of ram's skin dyed red, and a covering above of badger's skin. So far there's 4 layers. A curtain of regular material, a curtain of, ram skin? I don't remember. And then a curtain of dried ram skin, and then a curtain of badger skin on top. And they're crisscrossing them as they go, so that they're making layers that crisscross, which adds strength to the overall structure. So if you think about it, it's like a pup tent. The tabernacle has spines that build the frame of the tabernacle. And we'll get into that in detail too, how the spines look. And then once the frame is built, then they cover the thing with all of the first tent, and then they cover it with the second, then the third, then the fourth, and then pin it all down. By the time they're done, they have a sturdy, structured building wherever they are, complete with doors and a gate and a front yard. Everything is set up just like a temple, only it's mobile. They can pick it up and move in a matter of a day, right? So that's pretty impressive, even for back then. And the architecture works out. There have been people that have followed these directions to the letter and built copies of this tabernacle, and it holds up. It's a very sturdy construction. And it has airflow, which is another important thing that they don't think about. Imagine all these layers of animal hides. Imagine how hot it would be in the desert inside of this tent. This thing has airflow and stays cool no matter what time of day it is. How about that? That's pretty interesting. You'll get into all those details later. Thou shalt make boards for the tabernacle of shittim wood, standing up. 10 cubits shall be the length of a board, and 1.5 cubits shall be the breadth of the board, the one board. These are the slats. Long, tall, and thin, like 2x4s. Only cubits. Cubit by cubits. Cubit by cubits. 2 tenons shall there be in the one board, set in order one against another. Thus shalt thou make for all the boards of the tabernacle. A tenon is how you slot the board into another board, like that. A mortise and tenon. The mortise is the hole, and the tenon is the slaughter. So it snaps together, basically. Like an old-timey cabinet or something with the dovetail mortise and tenons. It's kind of like that. Thus shalt thou make for all the boards of the tabernacle. So every board in the tabernacle slots together. And thou shalt make the boards for the tabernacle, 20 boards on the south side southwards. And thou shalt make 40 sockets of silver under the 20 boards. So the boards are slotted into a socket made of silver. 2 sockets under one board for his 2 tenons. So there's 2 boards and 2 tenons stuck into one silver socket, if that makes any sense. And 2 sockets under another board for his 2 tenons. And for the second side of the tabernacle, on the north side, there shall be 20 boards, and there 40 sockets of silver, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another board. And for the sides of the tabernacle westwards, thou shalt make 6 boards. And 2 boards shalt thou make for the corners of the tabernacle in 2 sides. So the boards come together like this to form a corner, right? And they slot into those silver sockets down at the bottom and at the top, making it a firm, solid structure with rigid corners that don't bend in the wind very well. And we use that today when we're building. There's a way that you take a 2x4 and then nail a 2x4 to it this way, and then another 2x4 to it this way, and you use that to make a corner. Gives it strength. And we still do that in carpentry to this day. I suspect the idea came from the Bible to do that, and it works. I don't know that to be true, but I suspect it. And they shall be coupled together beneath, and they shall be coupled together above the head of it unto one ring. Thus it shall be for them both. They shall be for two corners. And they shall be 8 boards in their sockets of silver, 16 sockets, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another board. So one board has 2 sockets, and there's 2 sockets of silver that it slots into. Like dovetail. Matter of fact, I'd probably say it was dovetailed. Thou shalt make bars of shittim wood, 5 for the boards of the one side of the tabernacle, and 5 for the boards of the other side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the boards on the side of the tabernacle for the 2 sides westward, and the middle bar in the midst of the boards shall reach from end to end. Now we're talking about the slats that go this way. So we got these boards, and now we got these boards going this way. So you have quite a strong skeleton to put these skins on top of. And thou shalt overlay the boards with gold, and make their rings of gold for places for the bars. And thou shalt overlay the bars with gold. So this was a very shiny, red and shiny building. It was red. It appeared red because the lambskin on top dyed red. And then it had a hairy top, badger skin on top. Thou shalt rear up the tabernacle according to the fashion thereof, which is showed thee in the mountain. So not only did he tell them how to build it, he showed them how to put it together. And thou shalt make a veil of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen of cunning work with cherubims shall it be made. So when you approach this thing, it has curtains that have angels in them, and you part the curtains and go in, and then there's a door. Thou shalt hang it upon the 4 pillars of shittim wood overlaid with gold, and their hooks shall be of gold, upon the 4 sockets of silver, 2 per each side. And thou shalt hang up the veil under the taches. Can I get another refill on this coffee, please? Thou shalt hang up the veil under the taches, and thou mayest bring in thither within the veil the ark of the testimony. So we're talking about the holiest of holies. So inside the tabernacle, there's a little room in the middle towards the back. The room is made out of a veil, so curtains hanging down from the top. But it's a very heavy, thick curtain. It's so heavy that a human has trouble opening it. It's that thick. But it goes all the way around, and they call that little area the holiest of holies. That's a little room inside the tabernacle towards the back that only the high priest can go in, and that's where the Ark of the Covenant is, in that little room inside of the tabernacle. And the veil shall divide unto you between the holy place and the most holy place. So the inside of the tabernacle is the holy place, but this little room is the most holy place, or the holiest of holies, where only the high priest can go in, because that's where God is, inside that room. He's not in the other part. He's in this part. And thou shalt put the mercy seat upon the ark of the testimony in the most holy place. Now notice they're calling it Ark of Testimony, not Ark of Covenant, because God hasn't made the promise yet. Right now, this is just a testimony. This is him telling the story of what he is going to do. Eventually, he's going to commit to it, and then it becomes the Ark of the Covenant. Thou shalt set the table on the outside of the veil, and the candlestick over against the table on the side of the tabernacle towards the south. And thou shalt put the table on the north side. And thou shalt make an hanging for the door of the tent of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen wrought with needlework or embroidered with cherubims. And thou shalt make for a hanging 5 pillars of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold, and their hooks shall be of gold. And thou shalt cast 5 sockets of brass for them. So this is the door. And thou shalt make an altar of shittim wood, 5 cubits long and 5 cubits broad. The altar shall be 4 square, and the height thereof shall be 3 cubits. It's a pretty big altar outside the door. And thou shalt make the horns of it upon the 4 corners thereof. So this altar has horns, or upturned spikes. I guess because it looks tough. I don't know. His horns shall be of the same, and thou shalt overlay it with brass. Why brass? Not gold. Because you're going to be burning things on the altar. You don't want to mess up good gold. And thou shalt make his pans to receive his ashes, and his shovels, and his basins, and his flesh hooks, and his fire pans, and all the vessels thereof thou shalt make brass. Now, remember when I said that a sacrifice was like a big barbecue? Do you own a grill? Well, let me ask you what you think of when I say things like pans for ashes, and basins, and flesh hooks, and fire pans. What do you think of when I say those words to you? That's a barbecue grill, is it not? Am I the only person that sees that? That's what that is, a big grill. That's the altar. That's where you burn the sacrifice to eat later. The only thing I haven't seen is that little 2-pronged spatula thing that you get with a grill, and the wire brush and the tongs. But the candlestick had tongs, so maybe they used that on the grill. I don't know. That's for cooking hot dogs anyway. Flip them over with tongs. Everything else use a spatula or a fire pan. And thou shalt make for it a grate of network brass, like the top of a grill. A grate made out of brass, like the top of a grill. And upon the net shalt thou make 4 brazen rings in the 4 corners thereof, to pick it up off the fire. Yes, because that's how grills work. And thou shalt put it under the compass of the altar beneath, and the net may be even to the midst of the altar. So it's a big grill. And thou shalt make staves for the altar, and staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with brass. Why? Because, again, hot. And the staves shall be put into the rings, and the staves shall be upon the 2 sides of the altar to bear it. Pick it up and tote it. Whole altar. Everything goes. Hollow with boards shalt thou make it, as it was showed there to thee in the mount, so shall they make it. So, and thou shalt make the court of the tabernacle. So this is the front yard of the tabernacle. You go out the front door, and there's a gate all the way around, and like a courtyard. So people can come in through the gate and then mingle in the courtyard before they go into the building for service. And in the courtyard, there's a bath, there's a grill, an altar, and there's, facilities to do the sacrifice and to eat it and all that stuff. Probably some picnic tables. I don't know, maybe a cornhole set or some horseshoe rings or something out there. Seems about right. A canister to put your empty bush cans. For the south side southward there shall be hangings for the court of fine twined linen of 100 cubits long for one side, and 20 pillars thereof, and their 20 sockets shall there be of brass. The hooks of the pillars and their fillets shall be of silver. So this is the fenced area that goes around the front. It's not as big as the tabernacle itself. It's not as tall. It's like a regular fence. So they're just talking about smaller boards now. And likewise for the north side, in the length there shall be hanging of 100 cubits long, and his 20 pillars, and their 20 sockets of brass, and the hooks of the pillars, and their fillets of silver. And for the breadth of the court on the west side shall be hangings of 50 cubits, and their pillars 10, and their sockets 10, and the breadth of the court on the eastward side shall be 50 cubits. So you get an idea of the size of the courtyard. And the hangings of the one side of the gate shall be 15 cubits, and their pillars 3, and their sockets 3. And on the other side shall be hangings of 15 cubits, and their pillars 3, and their sockets 3. That's the gate. And for the gate of the court shall be a hanging of 20 cubits of blue and purple and scarlet, and fine twined linen wrought with needlework. And their pillars shall be 4, and their sockets 4. All the pillars round about the court shall be filleted with silver. Their hooks shall be of silver, and their sockets of brass. The length of the court shall be 100 cubits, and the breadth 50 everywhere. And the height 5 cubits of fine twined linen, and their sockets of brass. So, if you can imagine this thing, it's a big building of fabric. And you walk in the front gate, which is 5 cubits high. It's a little taller than me. I don't know how tall a cubit is, but 5 cubits high. And you open the gate, and inside there's walls around the garden that's in the front, or the courtyard. But it's fine linen, so air goes through it. It's like a screened-in area. It's a Florida room. That's what it is. It's a Florida room with a screened-in porch. So you can see through it, and the wind can come through it, but it keeps the bugs out. Pretty nice. And then you go 100 cubits to the door. The door opens, and you walk in, and there's a showbread table and a candlestick and several other things, some pamphlets. I don't know. Maybe a dude with a bow tie over here. And then in the back, you see the door for the holiest of the holies, which is a curtain, not a door. But it's closed. And you know what's on the other side of that. That's where God is. So you come in and find your pew, and you sit down, and there's a hymn book in front of you. And they call service together, and the guy starts playing the organ. I don't know if there's an organ in there or not. But then the priest comes out of the holiest of holies and gives the sermon. That's what the tabernacle is. There you go. Now you know why churches look like they do. And my voice is tired, so I'm going to stop there. We'll pick up tomorrow night, 27:19. I'm just trying to make sure I'm stopping at a good place because it goes on for quite some time. All right. Man, what a fantastic read that was. I enjoyed it. I hope you did too. I hope you enjoyed my little play. Make it a little interesting. Make it come to life a little bit. Trying to anyway. Think about it. Think about what we're talking about. Try to visualize this building in the middle of the desert, surrounded by camps all the way around in the shape of a cross, by the way. They're set up in like a flea market style all the way around the tabernacle. Every tribe, all the way around by tribe. And then in between the tribes are smaller families. So it goes all the way around the tabernacle in the shape of a cross in the desert. The tabernacle is shaped like a cross with a big courtyard in the front. This is a big to-do. It's like a roving city, small city, but the whole thing is moving across the desert day by day. It's fantastic. I hope you enjoy that. Think about it for a while. Consider, I hope it touches your heart. I hope it causes you to question everything. But most of all, I hope it causes you to reach out with both hands to Almighty God. Ask Him to come into your life. Solve what your problems are. Cure what ails you. Teach you the right way to think and do. Pray to Him, and He will do for you. I promise you that. And while you're thinking about that, won't you do me a favor, please? Hit that subscribe button. Press the bell icon so you get notifications when I'm going to be online. Smash that like button. It's free. It's effortless. It's right in front of you. It really does help the channel with the algorithms. Helps get recommended to the people. Won't you do that, please? Share this video with somebody you love. Better yet, share it with somebody you don't love. Bring them into the family. Make them part of the fold. Be part of their solutions, not part of their problems. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking about. Question me, curse me, bless me, challenge me, confront me, conform me, drink my Kool-Aid. Make your own Kool-Aid. As long as you're thinking critical, that's what I want. Critical thought coming from that brain of yours. And hey, if you love the Word of God and you can see the value in what I'm trying to build here and you'd like to help me build it, well, consider joining the channel. Get yourself a JTag. Leave a super chat in the chat box. Buy a t-shirt or a kitchen. But if you feel led to send your tithes, offerings, or love offerings to this humble ministry, you can do that by going to paypal.me/jakejohnsonband, or if you're a Cash App user, $JakeJohnsonband. Every little bit helps. It is a win-win. It is a blessing for me, of course it is. But it's a blessing for you too, because God notices these things. I will do everything in my power to be worthy of that support. I will answer all your questions and comments, as I always do, right now. All right. What do you think? Do you feel enlightened? Do you feel a little weirded out? Do you feel like you now understand how to build tabernacles? Tell me what's on your mind. Questions, comments, criticisms? All right. I'm going to blow my nose. Pardon me. Let's see where we're at here in the chat. Amber says, I picked out some cards and sent them out for the 4th of July. I'm excited to see them. Or I picked some cards to send out for the 4th of July. You hadn't seen them yet. Oh, thank you, April, for the $9.99 super chat. Much love. Heart. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm trying to like it. It won't let me. I'll do it down here. Thank you. Ladina says, my dad was sang country western music. He sang and played the guitar, and his favorite song was Margaritaville. I miss him. Oh, it's one of my favorite songs, too. I do that one. Did do that one. I'm glad to know that somebody appreciated their father who sang country music. I don't know that my kids appreciate me, but maybe. Amanda says, Ladina, hamburger upper hand. Kevin says, hello, Ladina. Hey ho, Ladina. Ladina says, wave your hand. There it is. I did it. And then I lost my place. Hang on. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I got it. Amy says, Ladina, hugs, and thanks for sending me the link to service this morning. Ladina says, heart. And Amy says, Gabriel, correct. You got it. You nailed it. April says, hello, everyone. Happy Easter. May God bless us all. Much love. Hearts and bunny rabbits and peeps. Thank you, April. How are you, sweetheart? Are you having a good day? Amanda says, good job. And I was about to say it. Amanda says, April, hamburger upper hand. And Judy says, hey, everybody. Hey, Judy. Amanda says, Judy, hamburger upper hand. And Judy says, hey, Jake and Amanda. Hi, how are you? Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the read. Linda says, hamburger upper hand, Judy. And thank you, April, for renewing your membership. Amanda says, woohoo, April. Judy says, hey, Nugget, Debbie, Maureen, and Hannah. Hannah? Amy and Kevin. Hi, hi, hi. Kevin says, hello, Judy. Judy says, hey, Maureen. Kevin says, hello, April. John says, hi, Judy. Heart. Judy says, hi, what it is. And John says, hi, April. Heart. Judy says, hey, Linda and Soph and Amber. And hey, Ladina. And hey, April. And Maureen says, hi, Judy. What it is says, isn't that what's going on right now? Is that we're getting rid of people that don't belong? Isn't Israel kind of cleaning the state right now with the help of the United States? Yeah. This fight has been going on for 2,000 years. It is not new. They know exactly why they're doing it, and they know exactly what the outcome should be for their cause, whichever side they're on. And yeah, you're not wrong. That is kind of what's happening. April says, amen, amen. Prayers. Amy says, April, wave your hand. Amanda says, LOL, Jake, you are a mess. Sometimes I get into it, don't I? Amy says, nothing wrong with being a hot mess. Well, if I'm anything, I am definitely a hot mess. That's for sure. Amanda says, Jake has lost it. His friend came out today. What? What are we talking about? I didn't catch that one. Are you talking about my imaginary friend? What? What? Oh, yeah. My imaginary friend. I got you. It happens. Amanda says, Ark of the Covenant. Not yet. It's the Ark of the Testimony right now. It will be the Ark of the Covenant, though. Amy says, the mercy seat is where Jesus comes back. No. Referring to the New Testament. No, ma'am. No, the mercy seat was for God. His actual physical being was on the mercy seat. Jesus will come back. If you go to Jerusalem, there's a big gate in the east of Jerusalem, and it's been concreted off. And they concreted it off because the Bible prophesies that Jesus will return through that gate. And they concreted it shut because they don't want the Messiah coming through that gate. That you can watch that gate. When that gate gets broken down, and it will eventually get broken open, that's when you can start looking for the return of Christ. But as far as I know, Jesus doesn't have anything to do with the covenant and the Ark of the Covenant other than fulfilling it. I don't think he touches it. There is some study that says that the Ark of the Covenant is actually below where he was crucified at in Jeremiah's grotto, about 30 feet down in the original city floor. And that when he died, his blood dripped down onto the mercy seat, which is what they do in the tabernacle. When they do a sacrifice, they take part of the blood and sprinkle it on the mercy seat and then sprinkle it on the people to wash them in the blood of the Lamb. So that is where his blood belongs, being the sacrifice. I think that's what you're talking about. And that makes perfect biblical sense to me, but I can't verify that it's true. I have no way of knowing whether or not that's where the Ark of the Covenant is, but somebody has said that it was there. It is a theory. So if he was crucified and his blood dripped down through the cross hole, when the ground cracked open and his blood went right down onto the mercy seat, to me that's beautiful, and it'll preach. I mean, that's perfect in line with what the Bible says, but I can't verify it, so I can't say that it's true. I hope it is, though. Maureen says, these instructions would have been easier to get if God had a woman go up the mountain with Moses, LOL. Women listen closely the first time, LOL. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I think Moses' wife was busy, so. Amy says, LOL, Maureen. Amanda says, LOL, Maureen. And Judy says, LOL, Maureen. What it is says, Raiders of the Lost Ark. No, they would be Raiders of the not Lost Ark because they built the Ark, so they would know exactly where it was. Amanda says, I know what a nappy is, LOL. Moses don't. Was that funny, or was I just being silly? I thought it was funny to me. Judy says, me too, Amanda. Maureen says, in biblical terminology, the term knot refers to an ornamental design resembling a bud or a round knob, often used in context of sacred architecture and furnishings. Yes. But Moses doesn't know what it is, and God ain't going to stop and tell him. He's already asked too many questions. He's kind of in timeout right now. Amy says, thanks, Maureen. And yes, thank you. Amanda says, you cheated, Maureen, LOL. What it is says, nop. What is that? Exactly. What it is says, kind of like a mop and a bucket? No. Kind of like a candle and a snuffer. And it has little buds on it as it goes up. Amanda says the standard biblical talent, especially for the Hebrew Old Testament context, equals 3,000 shekels or 60 minas. That doesn't tell me in pounds. I need pounds. Scholars generally estimate its weight as approximately what? I was trying to figure out something that I could tell people that they could reference it in their minds, and I don't know a talent, how many pounds that is. I know what a talent is. I don't know how much it is. That's what I said. Shekels is no better. I don't know how many 60 shekels is either. Or 3,000 shekels. I don't know how many 60 minas are. How many pounds is that? Bill Bennett says, howdy, Untethered Live family. God bless you all. Hey, Bill. Nice to see you, brother. Amanda says, a knot is an ornament. Yes, it is. And Maureen says, of course I did, Amanda. LOL. Amanda says, Bill, hamburger upper hand. Amanda says, LOL, Maureen. Amy says, how much does a shekel weigh? Exactly. That's what I'm getting at. Maureen says, hi, Bill. What it is says, when did man first find out the value of gold, and when was gold first discovered? Well, gold has always been here. In fact, in the Garden of Eden, part of the land is described as having good gold. So from the beginning, the value of gold was decided upon by man because it's intrinsic in its value. It doesn't tarnish. It stays pure. And the purer it is, the prettier it is. So it has intrinsic value to us. And that's always been the case. But if you want to know, read the book of Enoch. Because the book of Enoch describes when the angels came down and twisted the minds of men by teaching them things they had no business knowing. Such as how to fight, how to build fire, how to make agriculture, to turn the land into profit. You know, that sort of thing. Things God never intended. And amongst that was the value of gold, money, greed, hunger, that sort of thing. That was introduced to us by angels, not by God. So from the very beginning, I hope that answers your question. It's a nomad tabernacle, says what it is. Yes, they were nomads. They traveled. And they brought the tabernacle with them, and they set it up whenever they set up camp. Thank you. 3,000 shekels is almost 75 pounds. Thank you. So 6,000 shekels would be what? 5 and 5 is 10, 7, 7 is 150 pounds. So the table and all of the bowls and stuff, utensils and all that goes with the table and the candlestick together, 150 pounds. Which is the reason they need to tote it. Now, if you take that figure and apply it mentally to how much gold is mentioned, everything is covered in gold. All the wood is overlaid in gold. There's a bunch of hoops and hooks that are made of gold. Most of the stuff that does the fastening is made of gold. Attachers are made of gold. Then there's brass and silver added. quite a few thousand pounds here. That's not including the material and the animal skins and how heavy that would be. This thing probably took quite a few people to move it. Maybe even upwards of 1,000 people or more to move it. What it is says they had to have had goldsmiths back in the day to do all of that making of tatches and coverings of staves to carry the ark, so forth. Yes. Yes, if you'll read the Bible, go all the way back to Tubal-Cain. Tubal-Cain, which is not far from the Garden of Eden. He was the first artificer and maker of things of metal. He did smelting and iron work and things like that. So as far back as then, they were doing crafts work. It's a thing. This is not new technology is what I'm saying. It's been around since the beginning. So God always intended for us to use the earth to produce things, to make things with. That's why there's iron in the ground. And if you ask yourself, why is there iron in the ground? What benefit is iron to the planet? It's not. It's only beneficial to us. How many things are in the ground that are only beneficial to us? That do nothing for the planet? What is the purpose of their existence, if not to benefit us? That's how you know God's real. And there are too many things like that. Way too many things. In fact, everything is like that. You can't deny it if you really think about it. What's the purpose of light? That only benefits things that have eyes. And color. There is no evolutionary reason for those things to exist. That's the big problem scientists have. But you're not wrong, and that's a good, astute observation to make. They had to have goldsmiths and metallurgists and people that were craftsmen to make all of this stuff. And lots of women, because there's a lot of embroidery and sewing going on, too. Judy says, hey, Bill. Maureen says, I would think silver and goldsmiths came out of the blacksmith profession. Absolutely. It's basically all one and the same. All blacksmiths are heavier-handed goldsmiths. Goldsmiths have to be kind of ginger because they're dealing with soft metal. But a blacksmith has to beat on that stuff. So it's the same practice. It's just more fine work. Amanda says, common or short ordinary cubit is about 17.5 to 18 inches. Yeah. A cubit traditionally is whoever the king or pharaoh is. It's the length from his elbow to the tip of his middle finger is a cubit. That is the standard for the cubit. So if you have a really tall king, cubit gets a little bit longer. If you got a really short king, cubit gets a little shorter. That's how that works in those days. Then they made a standard at some point, and a cubit was just a cubit. Maureen says, oh, dang, my computer is buffering. Does it need oxygen? Ladina says, hi, Judy. Judy says, hey, Ladina. Amanda says, tongue and groove. Kind of. Tongue and groove is this way. Mortar and tennis is this way. Long ways. Does that make sense? Tongue and groove puts two pieces together like this. Long ways. Flat. The sides. Mortise and tennis does top and bottom, not sides. But it's basically the same thing, snapping wood together. Yeah. Maureen says, I'm back. That's amazing. I'm front. Amy says, like, subscribe, share, join, and if possible, feed Jake.
Jake, now I lay me down to sleep. Pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I die before I wake, VJ,
I got my own theme song.
right through it all.
I'm in a good doggy.
VJ,
Put little kibbles and bits in my bowl.
die before I wake.
Buy me a cup of coffee. VJ. Thank you very much. That was just for you. Amanda says 5 cubits equals 8.3 to 8.75 feet. Okay. So an 8-foot tall gate. Amanda says, great read, Jake. Thank you. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. I tried to make it humorous. Amber says, thank you, Jake, for you're welcome. I appreciate you. Linda says, thank you, Jake Hart. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate you, too. Kevin says, another good read. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate you. God bless all of you. I appreciate you for listening. Amber says, thank you, Jake, for a wonderful reading tonight. My pleasure, and I hope you enjoyed it. Amber says, thank you, Miss Hammer, for sharing him. She says, you're welcome. Maureen says, I like the interpretive read. I enjoyed it. Appreciate it. I'm just trying to read it as if it would happen to me, because it did happen. These are events that did take place, and it's very easy to read it like this amorphous thing that's in front of you, but not like a real life event, more like a fictional thing, you know. Now, these things actually occurred to people that have feelings and jobs and you know, have itchy butts and can't sleep well because there's a rock in the bed, and, you know, real life things, real life people. And I try to bring that to life the best way I can. And I hope that it is successful. Amanda says, you're welcome, Amber. Amber says, y'all have a blessed night. Hearts, prayers, and smiley faces. Thank you, Amber. You have a good night, too, and bless you, and God be with you, and we'll see you next time. Amanda says, good night, Amber. And Kevin says, good night, Amber. And April says, I love every one of you. I'm driving right now, so I'm sorry I wasn't so chit-chatty and in here tonight, but happy Easter to you all, and I love you guys with all my heart, and God bless. Well, we love you too, April, and be careful out there. And thank you for being here tonight, and happy Easter. And Linda says, good night, Amber. And John says, thank you, Jake. My mind is blown. Thank you, buddy. I hope so. I was aiming for just above interesting, so if you're mind blown, mission accomplished. Amanda says, good night, April. Linda says, I'm exhausted. I'm going to call it a night, too. I love you all. See you tomorrow night. Linda, get you some rest, honey. We love you, and thank you for being here. I know you had a busy day today, and thank you for carving out time for us. Judy says, good night, Amber. And April hits me with the $9.99. Much love. Thank you, April. Amanda says, good night, Linda. And Amanda says, thanks, April. And Judy says, bye, April. And Bill says, good read, Jakeroo. Thank you, Bill. God bless you, my friend. I hope you enjoyed it. Judy says, bye, Linda. And April says, love you too. Love you true, too. I love you true, too. Hang on, my chat jumped. There it is. Yep. Maureen says Buffett was awesome in concert. Yes, he is. Amy says, thanks for the read, Jake. Good night, everybody. Amy, God bless you, and thank you for being here. I'm glad you enjoyed it. We'll see you on the next one. Amanda says, good night, Amy. Bill Bennett says, 1411 Boyer Street. I was told getting Christmas cards and a hoodie. None ever came. LOL. Just joking. Keep up the great work. Sorry, I've never gave back for your time. Will do as soon as I'm able. Bill, ain't nobody dunning you at all. You come anytime you want for as long as you want. This is a free show. And we love you for being here. John says, good night, everyone, 24/7. Or 2.47 here. 2:47 in the morning. I got it. April says, I'm good, and I hope all is well with everyone here tonight and all the family. I love you all. May God bless and be with you. We'll see you tomorrow night in sweet dreams. Thank you for being here, April. We love you. Amanda says, good night, Nugget. Bill says, I've been fighting way before Jesus came. Been fighting way before Jesus came. Oh, yeah. Fighting's one of the first things we did as people. The first person gave birth to a son who killed somebody. So, like right there at the beginning. April says, what friend came out? And I am text talking y'all. She's talking about my imaginary friend that I get in an argument with sometimes. It's the characters that I'm reading come to life. It's not me, it's them. I'm just mouthing them. If I had two different camera angles, I'd do it that way so it wouldn't be quite so confusing and it looked like two different people talking to each other. But I don't have two different angles. It's kind of like the Y-Files with the Hucklefish, only I'm the Hucklefish and the Y-Files guy. Hecklefish, excuse me. Judy says, bye, Nugget. And Amanda says, Jake's imaginary friend, April. And Angela says, I'm sorry I'm late, but I'm here. My phone is broken and I wouldn't charge it. And wouldn't charge. I was going to buy a new one, but I went to Walmart and discovered that I had lost my wallet. Oh, no. That's terrible, Angela. I hope you found it. I hope you're okay and not stranded somewhere with no money. And we'll be praying for you, honey. Father, please watch over Angela and may her wallet find its way home. Thank you, Lord, in Jesus' precious name, amen. Amen and amen. I hope that helps. April says, y'all say hi to CJ. He's here with me right now. CJ, what's up, buddy? Amanda says, Angela, oh no, hamburger up brand. And hi, CJ. Bill says, hi, CJ, hamburger up brand. Judy says, hey, Angel. And Amy says, thanks for clarifying that on the mercy seat, Jake. My pleasure. Bill Bennett says, it underground Ethiopia. Some people think that, yeah. I don't think so, but some people do. Judy says, did you find your wallet? That is scary. I can imagine. Thank God I've never lost my wallet, but I can imagine how scary that would be. Amy says, good night, everyone. Good night, sweetheart. Thank you for being here. Get you some rest. We love you. Judy says, hey, CJ, and bye, Amy. And Kevin says, perhaps God should have given Moses an iPad instead of tablets, right? That would have made it easier, but it would probably, freeze up or something. He probably had to get the Geek Squad on it immediately. Judy says, LOL, Kevin. Amanda says, LOL, Kevin. Angela says, but my phone is rigged up and charging, and my wallet is at my son's. Both things happened at the same time, and I had just rigged my phone up to charge, and my son called and said that the wallet was there. Great. That's fantastic. I'm glad you found it. And Judy says, that's good, Angel. Angela says, I'm just going to say hello, everyone. Too many to do individually. Right on. Hello, everyone works perfectly. April says, hey, Bill and Angel, and everybody hugs and love. Heart. And Amanda says, Bible Reference Works estimates the weight of one biblical talent, 3,000 shekels, as approximately 75 pounds. Thank you. So 150 pounds for that thing we were talking about. Angela says, yep, I was freaking out for hours because my son wasn't home to check for my wallet. And April, heart, and hearts to everyone who said hello. And Bill Bennett says, materialistic shit don't matter. Family, friends, and truth is priceless. Thank you, Jake, for what you're doing. And you're doing a great job. Apologize for wanting a free hoodie. You got one coming. It'll get there, I promise. Just have faith. You got to have faith. You know that thing that you were talking about that you haven't been able to do? Like give a little to the channel? Well, the deliverance of the hoodie is directly tied to that. So it takes me time to get them out. I'm slow, but it's coming, I promise you. Have patience. Angela says, sounds like I missed a great read. I'll watch in rewind. No. Go back to the beginning and watch it forwards. If you watch it backwards, it'll be about a bunch of guys throwing up wood until they have a tree. You don't want to do that. You want to watch it the right way around so you can see that they take the tree and build a tabernacle. April says, hi, Jake. This is CJ. Hello, CJ, who is not April. Angela says there's something like that. Yes. Judy says, hey, CJ, and blessed night, y'all, says Maureen. Maureen, blessed night to you, too. Amanda says, good night, Maureen. And Judy says, bye, Maureen. Dennis is here. He says, I've been lurking since you were already reading. Well, thank you. How did you like it? And happy Easter and all of that. Amanda says, Dennis, hamburger upper hand. And Judy says, hey, Dennis. Dennis says, hey, Amanda and Judy. And Amanda says, good night, all y'all. See you tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on Untethered Live for a Bible study. Much love, y'all. I guess that means I'm at the bottom of the chat. Dennis says, hey, Jake, I always enjoy the read. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that very much. I enjoyed delivering it, and I hope I do a good job at it. I'm trying. Sometimes I have kind of an inspired interpretation of it that comes out and leaks out really into the form of some sort of quasi-play right here at my microphone, and it's entertaining in my head, and I hope it translates well across to your head. But sometimes I can imagine it would look kind of weird, especially if you came in the middle of it and didn't know what I was talking about. What the hell is this guy doing? Is he on drugs? What's going on? But I hope it was enjoyable. And Judy says, bye, y'all, and good night, Judy, says Angela. And Heart. Well, I hope you guys have a great night. I love each and every one of you. God bless you all. I'm going to go to bed now because I got to get up and go to work in the morning. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow night, 8:30, right here on Untethered Live, where we will finish this tabernacle build and get into what goes on at the tabernacle, which is quite interesting. You don't want to miss it. It is life-changing. So, until next time. Debbie says, good night, all. And Dennis says, good night, all. I love you all. I love you too, buddy. And good night, Debbie. We love you. Have a great night. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.